Hello, welcome to my video. If you're from my Instagram, I love you. If you're not from my Instagram, love you all the same. So today I decided to give Makeup Revolution products a second chance, if you will, because it's not like I really dislike them, but it's also not like I'm their biggest fan. So I decided to give them a second chance today because everybody deserves one, and I created almost this whole entire look with Makeup Revolution products. So if you want to see how that went, then please keep watching. Okay, so as per usual, I'm applying eyeshadow base. This is the P. Louise because I just want to give the eyeshadows a shot. And I'm mostly going to be focusing on the eyeshadows today, but I do have a couple of other face products that I intend to use and give my little quick review on. But for the most part, it's going to be eyeshadows. Okay, so I'm using the Game of Thrones Mother of Dragons palette because I'm a sucker like that. And I'm using a pretty dark shade. Basically, it's black, I think. But it's called Crow, and I'm just gonna outline the shape of the eye look that I want. So my beef with Makeup Revolution isn't really a beef with the brand itself. I actually use a few things by the brand, like I did my bronzer today with a bronzer that I use pretty much on an everyday basis, and it's by them, so I really don't have any tea. But the only problem, the only reason why I am calling this video giving them another chance is just because I believe that they're mostly eyeshadows, but also some other products, from my experience at least as well, are inconsistent. So let me explain what I mean by that, okay? So for example, I used to love and use their eyeshadow palette that they came out with in collaboration with Soph. That one was incredible. I think the quality was actually really nice and it was pretty affordable, so it was a great eyeshadow palette to own. However, I have tried a lot of their other eyeshadow palettes. I've really given them a shot and they were just chalky, very hard to blend, unpigmented, and just bad quality all around. And so honestly, for me, it really doesn't help if a palette is affordable. If I have to double or triple the amount of time it takes me to normally do my eyeshadow to use it, you know what I mean? However, I have heard from friends that their new palettes, like for example the one that I have here right now, are not as inconsistent as some of their older ones, so that's why I'm giving them a second chance. And with that being said, this shade so far isn't really giving me any problems at all. It went on pretty nice and pigmented, and as you can see, it also blended out that way. It doesn't seem to be patchy anywhere, so far, so good. Okay, so now I'm switching to shade Call. You know what the problem is? Shade Call looks alarmingly close to this other shade. I don't know if it translates on camera, but in person, they look pretty much the same, and I did clean my brush obviously, so that's kind of inconvenient. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can see that, but they're pretty much blending into the same shade at this point, like there's no difference. But whatever, I guess I'm sticking with it for right now, although in the pan, the first shade I used looks like a dark black charcoal, and this one looks like a dark brown. So they really shouldn't be this close together. I don't know what's happening. This is already sort of annoying me. So I'm gonna do the same on the other eye and hope for a different result, although it seems like I won't really be getting it, so work. Now, Makeup Revolution, how are y'all gonna name an eyeshadow by one of the most iconic characters in the series and then do him so dirty with this? Ugh. So this is what I have so far. I'm not really focused on the blending right now. I just want to get the colors down and then I'll blend them out later. Okay, so now I'm using the shade Saddle and hoping for a miracle. Okay, this shade, I mean, it's not extremely pigmented. I would say it's less pigmented than the first shade that I picked up, Crow, I think it was called. It's really not that pigmented. I gotta dip back in a few times to sort of make it look like it does in the pan, but if that doesn't bother you, then, you know, it's really not that big of a problem. So far, it seems to be playing nice with all of the other colors as far as blending goes. It's not, you know, erasing any of the previous colors we applied, so I mean, I'm very happy about that because I have had bad experiences with some of their older palettes. Boy, have I lowered my criteria. I really said, okay, if the eyeshadow is not lifting, then we're happy. Woo! It's a hard day, folks. Okay, so before I try and strengthen the pigment of all of these shades, I am using the two lightest shades in the palette to just try and marry everything together and just blend it out a little bit more. And then we're really gonna see what we're dealing with after this. Okay, so now I'm just going back in with all of the shades that I already applied, just in their reverse order, just to really strengthen the pigment. So right now I'm using Saddle. And I mean, like I said, so far, it's not bad. Like, I ain't saying she's the best, but she ain't the worst, you know? So now I'm going back in with Call, but I can't believe I'm about to say this, but Call is really ruining this whole experience for me because I thought it was gonna be a dark brown shade, which is what it looks like, but it appears to be another charcoal on the eyes. So it's not really giving what I wanted it to give, but you know what? At least it's blending out nice. Okay, so last step, I'm dipping into that darkest shade that we used, and I'm just sort of gonna deepen up the very outer corners and see how that looks. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite, the blend. That's what we're talking about specifically. And normally I do this type of look all the time, so the blend at this point would have been pretty flawless. But right now, I don't know. I really think that that Call shade ruined everything for me because it's just a little too close to that darkest shade, but not close enough to where it would blend seamlessly, but it also doesn't really fit in with my little brown moment going up here. So maybe, you know what I'll do? I'll try and redeem this palette by adding another shade into the mix. Now, this could either be the dumbest idea or the best one. And with that in mind, the shade is called Bravery. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it really is called Bravery, but I'm not insinuating that I'm brave by using it. I was just making a stupid joke. But you know what? I honestly do feel kind of brave because this blend, it's blending, but it's not blending, you know? So two things. Added that shade. I really can't see it anywhere. I can't see a difference between my eyes now and before I added Bravery. So that's number one. And number two, now that I did add it, we sort of lost the blackest shade again. So I'm gonna have to fix that. This is way more tweaking than I would personally like and normally have time for, but we're gonna tweak it a little bit more. Okay, so I think this is the best I can do with what I have currently. So I'm just tapping in with my base brush with whatever's left over on it, just because I'm trying to get rid of all the creases mostly, and I'm also trying to prepare the area for the shimmers just a little bit. Okay, so I don't want this to be too dark, so I'm using the shade Queen. Is definitely not as pigmented as I would like, but I mean, it's there. Wait, let me try and use my finger. Well, it's not much of a difference. Okay, so last but not least, I am just applying the shade Iron Throne between the mattes and the shimmer just to try and bring them together, sort of. And it's actually a shimmery dark brown. I really like that shade. That's pretty. Well, that's all, folks. Honestly, I think that this is as good of an eye look that I'm going to create with this specific palette. I'm now going to move on to the rest of the face. So I have a little blush, some lip products, and do everything up. And then once I'm completed, once this whole face is on, maybe I'll feel a little bit differently about the eye look. But for right now, I'm just sort of meh, you know? Okay, so this cheek palette by them is actually really good. I've been using this on and off for years. I haven't bought this for this video specifically, so I'm gonna use it today as well. I used the bronzer from this palette. I'm gonna use the blush, but I'm gonna use a different highlighter of theirs. So the blush is like an orangey shade. It does have some shimmer to it. I know that bothers some people, but I personally love that. Okay, the blush is looking cute. We actually like her. So now I'm gonna move on to the highlighter. And I got this, you guys, just because I'm obsessed with Beetlejuice. And also, honestly, these highlighters really look bomb. Okay, look how cute they are. So I'm actually using that baby pink one. Wow, okay. So she's pretty pigmented. Look at that, do you see that? Not me asking, do you see that? Aliens from space can definitely see that. That's very pretty and so pigmented. It doesn't really look pink on the skin. It looks white, But I mean, other than that, no qualms. A little bit up here as well, some on the nose. Ah, that's pretty, I like that. I'm just using the peachy highlight on my brow bone, and that actually, whoa. That, I don't know if you can see that. That is extremely pigmented, and I really just lightly dipped my brush in. That's very pigmented, and also it does actually look peachy golden on the skin like it does in the packaging, which I really wasn't expecting because the pink one looks white. It really definitely doesn't look pink, but this looks like an eyeshadow almost. Let me see how I'm gonna blend this out, girl. This is the video that breaks me. This is the video where I finally apply too much highlighter, even for me. Okay, last but not least, I actually bought one of their lip kits in the shade Lover, and you get a lip liner and you also get a liquid lipstick. So that's what we're gonna do right now. I've heard people on TikTok actually talking about their lip kits, saying that they're pretty good. So I'm excited. Ooh. This is a very light lip liner, very light and peachy. Girl, okay, well, look, I lined my lips. Let's see what the liquid lipstick is giving. I would say that the liquid lipstick is a little bit darker than the lip liner. Let me know if you see it too on camera, but it certainly does look darker, which, what's the point of giving us a lighter lip liner in the lip kit? I don't know. It is applying a little bit streaky, so I am gonna have to apply 2 coats, but I am gonna apply a lip gloss over top, so that doesn't really matter to me. Okay, so this gloss is in Almond Macchiato, and it smells actually really good. It reminds me of a certain lip gloss. I don't know, a cross between MAC and Too Faced lip glosses, sort of. It's sweet and cute, and this is from a different lip kit, but it looks like, honestly, it could come with this lip kit as well. Okay, so now I really am done. Let me apply a little bit of mascara, and I'm gonna come back here for final thoughts. Okay, you guys, so I gave Revolution a second chance. Was it worth it? I don't know. Let's start with the eyeshadow palette. Personally, you see the look. What you didn't see was me struggling behind the scenes. I really did tweak this to make it look as clean as possible. Does it look like that? Not really. It's not the worst. I think that, you know, it's okay. But for me, that's not enough. A 5 out of 10 for me is just not cutting it anymore, because we have a lot of brands that have affordable eyeshadows now that blend better than this and that do a better job than this. So it's a no from me on the eyeshadows. Now the Beetlejuice highlighter palette. Cute. Is it a must-have? No, not really, only if you love Beetlejuice like I do, as sort of a novelty product. This highlighter is really blinding, so that's pretty, but again, it's the inconsistency, because this one is supposed to be pink, it's not, but it is blinding. This one is supposed to be a peachy gold. It definitely is, but it's not blinding. It gives off more pigment than shine and sparkle. So if a palette is inconsistent, I don't know. I don't know if I would buy the whole highlighter palette for that one pinky nudish shade. It's not really that unique for me to buy it. So that's maybe a 6 out of 10 for me. The bronzer and blush that I used from this little palette, it's a 9 out of 10. I use it almost every day for everyday wear. It's actually pretty nice and pretty pigmented, and it does blend out pretty well. The lip products though, however, can I do a crickets out of 10? Because here's the tea. So the lip liner was pigmented enough, however the cap of the lip liner was one color, and then the actual lip liner itself was way lighter, which is not that convenient for me. Now the liquid lipstick was a little streaky, but it was pigmented enough. However, it was darker than the lip liner that was supposed to match with the liquid lipstick, which in this case ended up being convenient because the lip liner was way too light. But then, I mean, the lip liner and liquid lipstick don't really match, so what's the point of a lip kit? I don't know, personally. And then this gloss, pigmented enough, pretty sticky though, pretty sticky. And also I did notice it does break up everything else I have going on underneath. So the liquid lipstick is even more streaky now, and it's coming off in certain areas, and the lip liner is just sort of there. So I don't know. I mean, do you see this? I don't know if you can see as I'm talking. the whole lip is essentially coming off. So it's really not cute. A 4 out of 10, I guess. I mean, they're not bad. They are usable. If that's the only thing I had available to me, I would use it. But I don't know if that's acceptable, to be honest. So with that, I mean, was the second chance really worth it? I don't know, not to me. Comment below though, you let me know what you thought of all the products, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!